Woo! We're ready to begin. Aloha and welcome to Wisdom Dialogues with Hope Johnson, coming from Hawaiian Paradise Park on the beautiful Big Island of Hawaii, where we're cooking up freshness and gardening every day. Yay. So there seems to be a sense that people need something before they can be authentic. Like people, like they need something. And, you know, that's the sense that that people seem to reflect to me whenever I see them and they're struggling or something like that. They always think they need something that they don't always already have. That seems to be the case all the time. And you know, marketing is aimed toward that too. And you know, it seems like it's reasonable that marketing would be aimed at that because people are walking around with a sense that they're not enough. That something needs to improve about them. They need something. They need to have more or less of something. So knowing that, you know, people who are really smart about marketing just, you know, target those things. Lose weight, do this, improve yourself like this, improve your image. Try not to get anyone's disapproval. Don't make anyone disapprove of you. Unless they're not important. If the people are important, then, you know, make sure you do everything you can so that they don't disapprove of you, you know. And it's like your authenticity requires willingness to allow it to be, to just allow it to be. And not to be concerned with trying to make yourself better. Like it's like you need to be taken care of because you're operating under a thought that you're less than what you are, that you're less than holy, that you're less than everything. So there's a sense of this lack and this need to fulfill a lack. And the thing is, you are all-powerful mind. And whatever you say is the truth in this world is the truth for you. You make it like that, you know. Someone shared with me recently on Facebook, hey, it looks like science is actually catching up to you, you know, the things that I'm talking about, because there's like consciousness science now, and there's quantum science, and they're saying that consciousness is creating everything that we think we see here. They're saying, like, looking at it from that perspective is coming to the same conclusion, which is awesome. You know, of course, these things are going to converge. Everyone's going to know. Everyone's just going to know. And then it's just a matter of, okay, how do we allow that to be, that which is true to be our reality, instead of making this reality that we think that we thought was the real thing, keep on, instead of, you know, keep holding it up as if it's our reality. I mean, basically it comes down to, once the mind shifts gear to that, rather than how can I get what I want? How can I live a really long time, or protect this body so I could live a really long time? You know, the whole purpose of this thing, it seems like a life. It's not a life. There's no such thing as a life. There's just life. There's one life. Okay. These illusions that we get of being bodies, that has nothing to do with life. It's like it's like an insane segue within life. It's anti-life. It's to fulfill the ego's wish that you believe in death, because that's your consent to dying over and over and over again. And I'm not saying I believe in reincarnation. I'm saying there's no incarnation. There's only dreaming. You know, if there is an incarnation, then that would mean that you're like in a body, or you're, somehow really limited by a body. You're not really limited by a body. You play like that. You're playing like you're limited. You're acting like you're limited. Okay. So as far as being your authentic self, it's like being aware that you're only acting like you're limited. I mean, we are acting so much like we're limited. Like even when we get in a car, we think we got in a car. We don't really get in a car. We think we got in the car. We have a dream that we got in the car. And then that car seems to get us to where we got. That's a magic trick. Okay. It's like a huge conspiracy. We all conspired together and we said, let's pretend like we're like this. And our mind is really powerful to make illusions, all powerful to make illusions. So much so that we take them as if they're true. So it's like there's nothing wrong or dangerous about going along, playing along like these things are true. You can't help it. It's just that recognizing that it's not true. That's in your mind. That's in your mind. The limitations that you place on yourself that seem to be limitations in the world, you gave that perception to yourself, not so that you can resist it and condemn it and all that kind of stuff, but so that you can use it, because you get resistance to that. You get resistance to the limitations that you put in place. And when you allow the resistance to those limitations to be fully felt by you, like they're just allowed to play out in your presence, let them play out in your body's energy field, you could say, you can see how they're given to you. You start to see how they're gifts to you. All the limitations you get a perception of, they're gifts for you. You don't have to try to get out of them in any way. Just don't make them real. Don't make them true. Don't make them something that can cause you any trouble, any mental upset, mental emotional, you could say. If any of the limitations seem like they're yours, or you're using them to identify yourself, that's the trick. That's the agreement we made to keep on pursuing a separate reality. So when the thought pops up and it says something like, here's one, I'm old, is one that I heard recently. I'm old. Well, it's like there's a feeling that goes along with that when you say old. For most people, I haven't had the perception of like, I'm old. Fuck that. I'm fucking old. Unless you're like 6, you're like, I'm old. It's kind of like I'm big. But you see someone like 50 and older say I'm old. I mean, I've seen them younger than that say I'm old too. Like in that way, like it's like it's true, like it's really true. What is that concept? What even is that concept? This is an eternal mind. Your identity is an eternal mind. You're making illusions of a body going through a life and then thinking that applies to you. It doesn't. How about I'm experienced? I'm old. I love you, Carla. Okay, so let's see. We got Goda, and she has something. This is fun. All right, Goda, what do I do to you? I ask
I
you
think
to unmute. Oh, there we are.
you muted me.
No way, that's awesome.
Oh, okay, so I have a fun little story.
I'm sure you do.
I'm getting the sense that I fucked up in a way
Right?
because I quit both of my jobs because they decided to do mask mandates again.
Uh-huh.
And apparently a few people got COVID during the last week. And I'm
Right.
pretty sure they assumed that I had it too because I was sick. But
Okay.
they ended up getting tested.
Okay, so you know you
And
weren't sick. That's just part of your story.
yes, I'm telling that in my mind.
Right. Okay, good. Just making sure.
Yes,
Carry
yes.
on.
And so I came in yesterday to quit, and it was really sweet because I came into the back office and one of the managers was like, "Oh, we already took you off the schedule because we know how you feel about this." And I just felt so loved knowing that they
Hmm.
knew my stance on it.
Mm-hmm.
However, I started to feel kind of stupid afterwards because the owner ended up giving me a really nice raise
Uh-huh.
just last week.
Uh-huh.
And he offered me the other job because he said I was the best worker there for that position. And it just felt like this big ego boost. And I felt like he was proud of me and like I was in a very successful spot. And now I'm getting the perception that he feels disappointed in me or like he made the wrong decision. And now I feel as though when I come back to the job, I'm not going to have this raise. And I know I didn't need it. It was just like, it felt really nice because I did feel as though I deserved it and all this. So I just feel as though I fucked up.
Well,
Even though it's
you
not,
make all the feelings meaningful. So first you make those good feelings meaningful, and then you make those bad feelings meaningful. See, any bit of pleasure you get from getting what you deserved
yeah,
any bit of pleasure that you get from that is coming to it's going to be its opposite.
yeah,
See, there's this thing going on with a lot of people, and from what I can see, yourself included, it's like this thing where you have been taught to seek approval.
yeah,
See, so in a lot of ways you don't do that, but it's like you can't help it because it's your conditioning. So it'll come
yeah.
out how it comes out, and that's how it's coming out now.
Man, it's so subconscious. Yeah, I didn't even see it as seeking approval, but yeah, I can see that now.
It's such a blessing that you get a feeling like you're stupid and all that other stuff, because that's what is allowing you to see what you're holding against yourself. Do you see that?
Hmm. Yeah,
Yeah, so then it's like, wow, thank goodness I got that sense that I was stupid.
so
That's you seeking approval. That's you trying to see through their eyes, which you perceive to be judgmental of yourself.
yeah. And and it's funny because I know it's a total story. I haven't even seen the owners or anything like that, and I know in my heart that they wouldn't give two fucks. They'd be like, "Oh, it's just go to being a hippie," and it'd be that.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. Hippieing it up. Yeah, the thing is, and this whole thing about, well, if you don't do it, you're not going to be able to work and stuff like that. It's like, man, uh, great. That just means that there's some other opportunity for me that doesn't involve working with a fucking mask on.
Yeah, okay. And then I did have that thought too. However, I have this story in my mind as well that this is one of my like dream jobs where they have just given me the freedom to do whatever I want, like other than the mask.
Other
um,
than obstruct your breathing,
yeah,
you were
exactly.
totally free.
But they let me travel however much I want. They let me draw while I'm working. Just like these little things that really keep me happy. And it feels oh man, it's almost like a relationship. It's like I'm settling because it feels like that's the best I'm ever gonna get.
Like
Yeah.
you mean like if you just go, I'm gonna wear a mask and go back to
No, I
work.
would not do that. I would not. No. That's yeah. That's
Yeah,
like where I draw the line.
so why would that be if that's the case? What's the issue? You know, it seems to me that this is just a habit to chase thoughts around because it's like, I don't know, fear of boredom or something.
Yeah. Yeah. I really think it is because like I have so much other stuff I can do. I'm like, oh well, now I'm free to travel again.
Yeah, it's a
And
distraction.
yeah,
You're used to you see this is the thing. This is how we're trained by the ego, which by the way, we set up, okay, to train us. So this is how we're trained. That we're looking for us having made a mistake. We're looking for that. We're constantly evaluating ourselves. You know, that makes it as if you had some will in that. Do you see that too? You got no
I
will
see
in
that. Yeah.
anything that you get a perception of yourself doing. You got no will in that.
Yeah. I did have like an ego trip with it because I was like, yeah, I stood up for myself.
Yeah, you got you know there's just nothing like that in it. You can't help it.
Yeah. Yeah.
You can't help it. It's just like it's too much of a uh, uh, let's see what is the word. It's like a defilement on humanity. It's too much of a defilement on, like, that's how it is for me. It's too much of a defilement on all of humanity to wear that symbol that says something is threatening.
Yeah. Yeah.
Not doing it.
Yeah. I totally understand that.
It's like, and you know, I don't have a choice in that. I was sharing with Goda last week. I was saying, hey, you know what? We have perspectives on the world. We have our own developed whatever perspectives. Some you know stuff that we prefer, our preferences. But those aren't really ours. So it's not like we have to do anything about it. We just can't help it. We're all working through. We're all working through our conditioning, and we're also coming through our conditioning. Like as far as like you know, my apparent stance that I take, I'm not wearing a fucking mask. You know, it's like I can't help that. That's the conditioning, you know. In my experience or my life, I had this experience where I studied health a bunch, and I got disillusioned as far as the government is here to support you and help you. I got exposed to the Luciferian theories and stuff like that, and also the Luciferian covenant came out. And when I saw that thing, I'm like, that's exactly what's going on. Like, just, and so you know, it's like I can't help it. I get the perception of obstructing breathing, the thing that we've all agreed and conspired to say, this is what supports life. You know, in this illusion, we've all conspired to say breathing is good for life. So we get the perception that getting you know good oxygen, getting all your oxygen, you know, taking deep breaths and not breathing in your own waste is healthy for you. Now, if you have the perception due to conditioning that putting a mask over your face and breathing your exhaled carbon, whatever it is great for you, and taking injections that have stuff that's actually in radiator fluid is awesome for you, then you know that's perfect. I don't have any kind of quarrel with that. Because that's just you know and it's not like you have to be whatever if you're wearing a mask. It's not like you have to be less spiritual or anything like that. I mean that has nothing to do with what you seem to do. It has nothing to do. The thing is you can't help what you do, and if you're willing to be authentic, you're going to live the authenticity that it is without making anyone else wrong. right before Wisdom Dialogues, I was contacted. I haven't had an opportunity to respond yet. I was contacted by someone who wants to make Standard Island Naturals over here. Call the cops ahead of time, go up there, put mask or don't have mask on and say, hey, they're violating us and stuff like that. And they're asking me what I think. Well, I'm just going to be sharing with you guys what I think about that. Here's the thing. If they want to run Island Naturals like that, I don't give a shit. I'm also not shopping there, but I'm not going over there trying to beat down their door and say, serve me, fuckers, you know? Now, if someone wants to organize something where we're making like an answer to that, like an answer to Island Naturals, like a store where maybe it's a PMA and they don't like go by anything but freedom, and you want some support on something like that, I'm like, fuck yeah, let's go. I don't see any reason to participate in a world that's dying. It's like, it doesn't even call to me. It's like, it seems so much more exciting to feel into the world that we're worthy of. Feel into the world that we're worthy of, because that's how you see it. You believe that you're worthy of it, and then you see it. The thing is, there's not the belief that we're worthy of the world that we're worthy of. There's a belief that we have to do something about it, like we have to fight those guys into submission. And I thought that was fun for a minute. I was doing the activism thing for like a year. I just wanted to feel that shit out and see what was up with it. And I don't have a choice in anything like that too. So it was really foreign to me, even being in that circumstance where I'm playing out like, hey, I want you guys to let me shop here, when actually I don't give a shit. Like it does not affect me, whatever anyone else seems to do in my perception. It does not affect me. And getting the sense of, wow, what does this feel like? What is the energy here? And it just brought so many gifts to go through, and that's how it is for anything. But the thing is, nothing is real and nothing is certain. I've said before in Wisdom Dialogues, hey, I don't know if I am guided to put a mask on. You bet your ass I will have a mask on my face. It's not like I identify with that person who's conditioned to know for damn sure everything it thinks it knows. But then on the other hand, my guidance is to play that aspect out. So that's what it is. Okay. And how do I know it's my guidance to play it out? I find myself doing it. I saw a puzzled look on Anne's face. That's why I love having Anne here. She gives me good feedback. She gives me a puzzled look like, what the fuck does that mean? Here, let me see if I can help you out. Okay, here's something from Jairus. He's on Facebook. He's saying, so now all of a sudden they want us to wear them. What do you think about it? I don't like the idea of someone switching up and the obligation to comply. F that. Hi, Goda. C for the meth story is, oh, if I lose this job, then how will I provide for myself? Oh yeah. I don't know what word you're trying to say there. It's not a meth story, I don't think, but I think it's something else. How will I provide for myself? Exactly, like what's gonna become of me? That's the story. That's the bullshit story being fed. What would become of me if I just say no to a bunch of crap? If I just say, I had one before when I was doing COVID dialogues. I think it was like, I think I maybe titled it, "Fuck you, I'm not doing that." It's like whenever someone tells you to do something, I don't know if people are aware of this, so I'm just going to say it. I mean, it seems like it might be common sense, but maybe it's not. Whenever a person tells you to do something in your perception, like, you don't have to obey them. Okay. Maybe you got that kind of conditioning that most of us got when we were growing up as kids, where we were taught that we had to obey our parents. Okay. That is just and the thing is, we tend to internalize that in our mind and keep playing that out. So like when someone tells us do this, like for instance, I got this from watching James Freeman videos. I don't know what he's doing now, but back in the day I was watching his stuff, and he was filming some police officers, and the police officer says, "Hey, stand over there." And James goes, "Why do you think you can tell me what to do?" And I'm like, "Oh my goodness, no kidding. Where did this come from? Why do you think you are you my authority? You have no business with me unless you have probable cause to believe I'm breaking the law." You have absolutely no business with me. You don't tell me where to stand. See how we play this thing out? It's as if we play it out as if someone has authority. See? Now now the ego will grab this and go, "Okay, I'm rebellious now. Now I'm rebellious." Rebelliousness is saying the ego does have authority and I'm going to fight it. There's no need for, or there's no use for rebelliousness here. It's not about being rebellious. See? And it's not about what you do. Well, you don't do anything again. So, all your problems that you think you have in the world come from thinking that there's will in doing. There's not will in any of the manifest doing that you perceive in the world. The will is in the observation, it's in the seeing. It's in what you're making of it, what you choose to make of it. That's all it is. So it's like, like with Goda, I was sharing, hey, like I just get the feeling sense, like if I found myself in the situation you shared with me about your dad, thinking that, if you walk around the house with COVID, him thinking, for one, thinking that you have COVID. For two, if you walk around the house with COVID, you're going to be responsible for killing your grandpa. And I know this sense of rebelliousness that arises. And here in this situation, I want to say that if there's any defensiveness, if there's any defensiveness coming up, rebelliousness is also defensiveness. That's an attempt to defend the truth, which makes it not the truth that you're defending. Because the truth needs no defense, remember? So when you get defensive, when you feel defensive, it's not the truth that you're defending anymore. That's why I felt to share with you. If I saw myself, I kind of like saw myself in that situation and go, "Oh, Dad, man, I love you. Having you feel like I could kill my grandpa, that is not something I want for you. I'm just going to go hang out in my room and, I'll welcome you bringing me food or, things that I need and stuff like that. Thank you. Thanks for letting me know you're feeling like that." It's like the spirit can express in any way. There's no rules. There's no rules for how you should be. See? It's like the guidance is always in the moment. That's why it's like I have it's a fake mask, but I have a mask in my purse. It's one of those ones that you can actually breathe through, but it looks really scary, like everyone loves. So they love that when they see you wearing something like that. So just in case the spirit guides me to wear a mask, which I have not been guided at all to wear a mask since, not in Hawaii. I did on a plane because it was like that was the guidance at that moment. You're going to be in Las Vegas at this time. Okay, that's what it is. You know how I know? Things are moving in that direction. Things are just moving in that direction. I don't have a say in it. It's just obvious to me. You know, you're going to get to the point, if you think this is weird, you're going to get to the point, it's guaranteed you will, don't doubt it. You're going to get to the point where you know that everything that you seem to be doing is perfect. It's in perfect order. And it could change, and that's also perfect. See, I didn't know, like going up to the point where I would find myself flying. Like actually, when I found myself making the reservation to go there, and this was in August, when I found myself making the reservation to go there, I wasn't sure it was actually going to transpire. You know, I kind of like felt this sense like, fuck, I'm going to be wearing a mask on a plane. I'm going to have to like pull that thing down and get some air. And, you know, and I'm just like letting myself relax with any kind of anxiety that's arising out of that. Just letting myself relax. Right. So the next thing I know, it's like a week before I'm flying. And my acupuncturist tells me, she's all excited. She's like, hey, this mask, I just flew all around the country with this mask on, and it's an unmasked, and you can breathe through it, and it was great. And I was like, no way. And I ordered one, and she was not kidding. That was nice. I was like really happy under that thing. I had it on the whole time. I didn't even take it down because it was fine. You know, I'm like, and the thing is that the mask, if you move it around and stuff, someone might see that it's see-through. So I knew just from trying it on, okay, if I'm going to wear this thing, it's just going to stay on. So of course, everyone was really happy with me. But you know, I'm telling you that story because it's like you don't have to worry about what's coming, you know, and that's the thing. You know, people relate to me that it's easier for me than it is for most people. Like I trust more than most people do. And you know, that's probably the case. I learned to start trusting when I was a little kid. I learned to start trusting when I was young. And you know, I asked my mom one time, because she, you know, my mom reminded me of someone who like really knew everything. It was like, to me, that was like really, really the shit, you know. And I asked her before, when I was probably like 13, you know, all the girls were talking about, you know, if you want to like hook a guy, you got to wait 3 months before you have sex with them. And you know, like in my family, like they were very sexually free, like super sexually free. Like you didn't need to wait at all. You guys like each other, like boom, yeah. um so my mom just said, you know what, if it's meant to be, it'll be. It does not matter. You don't have to manipulate anything. And like that's just that just like works for me for everything. That is, you know, it works for me for everything. So anyways, my mom said, fuck when you want to fuck. No, don't worry about like trying to hook a man with trying to do it when you think he wants you to do it. And that's basically the same thing for anything. I mean, you can apply that all the way across the board. Don't try to get the particular outcome or the particular reaction that you think you want to get from people. That's inauthentic. That's manipulative. That's not going to bring back anything good, okay? Whew, where were we? So yeah, you know, and you guys find yourself, okay, you're like telling yourself, man, I'm a freaking pussy. You know, I know this stuff is bullshit, but still, here I go, putting on my fucking mask, going in Island Naturals, going in this place, getting what I need, promoting the whole thing. You know, forget about all that stuff too. Forget about it. Like just experience the experience. You know, if you get the sense that you're disappointed in the way you manifest, like you're not courageous enough, you know, someone shared that with me today. I don't know if he's on with me. You know, getting the sense that you're not, you know, you're not enough. I had one friend share with me, you know, he wishes that he had the kind of courage and, you know, strength, authenticity, something like that, that he perceives in me. And it's like, you know, anything that you get the perception of in another person, it's like you made that possible to perceive that. That means that's your potential anyway. You know, so when you get the perception of yourself being not enough, like lacking something, you perceive that you lack something, That is your spirit's strength. Okay, because your perception that you're lacking, that's a perception you made with the ego. That's not even true. So in that instance, when you'll just deny truth to what you made of yourself, that's not yourself. That perception of yourself is not true. Deny any truth to a perception you get of not being enough, because that perception is only based on your thinking. You haven't been enough. This is the past. This is the past playing out. So now is the time to demonstrate to your mind that, in fact, you are enough, even if you don't get the perception of it, even if it seems like you're not. It's like you could laugh at the silliness of getting a perception that you're not enough. Just laugh. The more you can laugh, the more fun you're going to have, and the faster it's going to go. You know, this whole illusion is made on a serious thought. That's what it's based on. That's all it's based on. A thought that you separated yourself from what's really true. Okay. And that's a very serious thought. It gets undone through laughter. And that seems to be the hard work for people, to get to the place where you're laughing. It's funny, right? It's cute, right? They told me I had to wear a mask or else I would it would kill them. That was funny, right? You thought it was sweet, right? You thought it was cute, yeah? Well, not yet. That's where the struggle is. Ah. And that seriousness is, you know, of course you would take it serious if you thought you separated yourself from creation. And someone asked me today, because I said, you know, when you thought you separated yourself from creation, that made you afraid that God was going to punish you. And she's like, well, what do you think about this? That I thought I killed God. And I'm like, yeah, that's what this is. This is you getting, this is you getting victory over God. This is your victory. This world. How do you like your kingdom? How do you like the kingdom you made? You know, that's what this is. And you know, and it's proven over and over again. It's like God is killed in this illusion over and over again when the presence of love is denied. That's all it is. It's all it takes. Deny the presence of love, and then you know, it's like God is killed again and again in your mind. That's why there's this sense that I killed God. There's a sense that there's no God here. Well, there is God here because there's only here. And the sense that you get that there's somewhere other than here where God is, it's a projected illusion. And it's only projected as a place to run so you're not annihilated. You know, because without God, you can't, there's no creation. That's why to the ego, there's nothing beyond dreaming. That's why the ego is so bent on dreaming and getting you to keep on propping dreams up as if they're your reality. You know what I do when it seems like, one of the things I find myself doing when it seems like something's really true, I'll just smell an essential oil. Sweet messengers. They know the truth about you. They bypass your thinking mind and relate the information directly to your consciousness. Isn't that sweet? I love them. They're good friends. Here you go, Ann. I have dankincense. It's cannabis frankincense. Yeah. It has no THC or CBD though. It's not non-cannabinoid. Yeah. Strong medicine, huh? But you know, you can use anything. You can pinch yourself. For a while, I just pinched myself. I've heard recently someone said yawn. You know, I've been getting into self-massage a bunch lately. In fact, you know, I've shared before, it seems like I require around 8 hours of self-care every day. Yeah. You know why I say that? Because that's what I seem to be doing just about every day, like 8 hours of self-care. My husband even said playfully and lovingly that it's my full-time job. Yeah, it's my full-time job, self-care. So I've been getting into self-massage lately, and noticing I love this reflection of myself, because it seems like it's kind of mainstream, but then they're going, we relax ourselves, we do not stress ourselves. They're saying stuff like that, and it's like, yes, this is it. I mean, we need to relax. We need to release tension. And that starts in the mind. The manifestation follows. It has to follow in the mind. It follows the mind. The manifestation is like math. So as we release in the mind, we find ourselves, and release. It's like relaxation. It's like what comes natural for us. And what comes natural to me is like spa all the time, spa kind stuffs, like living on retreat, living on a retreat, a spa retreat, and I love sharing wisdom. Basically, that's my life. The make-believe life, so there's no attachment to it too. I could find myself in any situation and it's all the same to me. See? That's why when I was going around messing around with all that COVID stuff, people are like, aren't you afraid of getting arrested? And I go, why would I mind getting arrested? It doesn't matter where I find myself. It's the same. It's all the same to me. That's like putting a judgment on yourself. Oh no, don't do that. You're not doing anything and you don't have a choice in it. Why are you doing that? You like getting arrested? I didn't even get the sense that I was in any danger of getting arrested. That wasn't even logical to me. But it's not like I'm trying not to. Like, why would I get arrested? Makes no sense. I'm like, friendly as fuck, going around talking to people without a mask on. And usually a camera. So one thing that article was saying that someone shared with me about the consciousness and quantum science is that it's kind of like an undisputable fact in science now that we agree on a certain reality and collapse particles or something like that to make it become like it's solid, and we just keep on re-agreeing again and again and again. So it's like, one by one, we're going to wake up to how we're playing into this whole thing. We're playing into this whole apparent world that we see. And when I say whole thing, I mean whole thing, like beyond the system. The system is one thing. Okay. The system and the systemites are one thing. Okay. But I mean, seeing through the whole illusion of death. I mean, this whole thing, this whole thing with all the COVID bullshit and all this kind of stuff, this is all coming up for this. And it's really, really awesome. It's all coming up for seeing through the whole illusion, the illusion of death. And it seems like many are ready. Who knows? Maybe it's all right now. Seems like many are ready during this time period, however long it's going to be, to see through all the way through, because it doesn't look like the comfort that people were looking for before is returning anytime soon. My husband Tony was sharing with me about how there was a whole think tank and study done by all these smart people, funded by the government in 2006, to find out. It was like it was like, I don't know how they call it, but it's to find out if vaccines, lockdowns, and masks would work against the virus. This was in 2006, and all those super smart people in the world came back and came to the conclusion that none of that shit works. And now they're speaking up and they're going, hey, why did you have us do that? You're not listening to us. It's like it's like getting so obvious, you guys. It's getting so obvious. And it's just showing, it's revealing, kind of like the Wizard of Oz, like what's behind the curtain, so you can see through the whole illusion. You know, it's such a blessing. And it's like more and more people are finding out about it. Another thing, this is from Goda. I saw her post on Facebook talking about the World Health Organization, about how they put this post up about how there's barely any side effects, and all the side effects are mild. Any side effects to the vaccine. It's on the World Health Organization's Facebook page. So Goda shared it, and she said, hey, the comments are all these guys railing on the World Health Organization. And, you know, it's funny because if you go over there and look, they have the post, you look at the comment, everyone's talking about all these things, strokes, seizures, deaths, all this other stuff that seems to be the result of a vaccine on their whole page. That's all the comments and all the posts. That's all, like all the comments are like that. Oh man, it seems like it seems like pretty soon it's just going to be like blown, the cover just blown right off of it. I mean, who knows what that looks like? But one thing is for sure, it's all a blessing. And it's definitely here to wake people up, myself included. You know, it's like, it's one thing awakening in the dream, okay? A lot of us are awakened in the dream, but it's like what we really want is awakening from the dream, is awakening out of dreaming completely, okay? A lot of us who are awake in the dream don't even know we want that, okay? One friend related it to me like this: consciousness is a cake. You want to get up to the icing. You want to get up there, you know, and to be awake in the dream. Yeah, I mean, that's like one goal you could have. But what's beyond consciousness is only available to those who, one, know they're dreaming, are willing to know they're dreaming. And everyone will be made willing. Because all this chasing the icing and shit like that, that's like a carrot and a stick, you know. It's never going to satisfy. You're way too worthy for anything in consciousness to satisfy you. There's nothing good enough for you in consciousness. You'll get to the highest levels of consciousness simply by releasing tension in the mind. You release tension, you ascend. You switch between levels all the time, all day long. You release tension in your mind, you ascend. Add tension, descend. That's all it is. And these, when you're ascending and descending, you're going on to different timelines very quickly. You know, lighter frequency kind events seem to occur on higher frequency timelines. Drama, turmoil, trouble, all that kind of stuff seems to occur on lower frequency timelines, because your frequency, the frequency of your mind, resonates to that energy. So you allow yourself to get the perception that things are dramatic, for instance. Things are never dramatic. You get dramatic about things, but things aren't never dramatic. Things are neutral. People are neutral. People are never a problem. You make people into problems, but people are never a problem. They're not being a problem for you, no matter what it is that they try to put on you, you could say. the authority they try to have over your body. There's a lot of that. There's a lot of that kind of play, kind of energetic play with doctors. I don't know if you've noticed, but there seems to be this authority thing where when you go to a doctor's office or you have a doctor's appointment, you must sign something. I'm not sure. Maybe you sign something giving away your authority, because the doctors oftentimes are going, this is what you're going to do. You're going to do this. I have a friend tell me the other day, the doctor told him to come in. You have an appointment. You need to see me tomorrow. And here's the 2 times you can come. My friend told me that they couldn't make it to something that we had planned. And because their doctor told them that they have to be there tomorrow. And I was just like, what? That's awesome. Since when did that guy have authority over you? And he's like, I know, right? I'm like, you don't have a bunch of experience with doctors, do you? Here's basically how they're trained. Basically, they tell you, they act like they know what's best for your body, and they tell you what you're going to do. And if you have any ideas that are your own, they're going to tell you how stupid you are and how you're going to ruin your body and you're going to hurt yourself. You're going to be really sad and guilty. You know what happens for me when I hear something like that? You probably guessed, laughter. I mean, I can't even help it. I have a person tell me something like that, I just bust out laughing. It's like, oh, thanks. Actually, I have this stuff to do. So my friend, after being over there for a couple of hours, and they're still making demands on him to fill out certain paperwork. First, they're telling him that he has to have surgery on the 28th, which is like a few days, that he needs to have surgery right away. Basically heart surgery right away. I guess he did one of those tests where he runs on the treadmill, and then they go, well, that didn't look the way we wanted it to look. So therefore we need to do exploratory surgery on your heart. my friend's like, oh, maybe after I get that heart surgery, I'll have permission to do some stuff. I'll have the doctor's permission to do some stuff. He's like, that's how he's like, this is how I'm thinking positively about it. I'm thinking after I have that surgery, I'm gonna have that doctor's permission to do some stuff. So then I spent a little time with him. We were hanging out a little bit. And then out of the blue, he goes, you know what? I actually don't need the doctor's permission to do whatever I want to do. I'm like, yeah, that's for sure. Everything was fine before you went and visit that fucker. God, and here's the thing, you guys, when it comes to, not only are doctors trained to be arrogant and thinking that they have authority over your body, that they know more than you do about your body. One thing, that there even is a body, that's, even beyond that. They're trained to think that they have authority over your body, and they're innocent in doing it. It's really cute. I don't hold it against them or anything. I just like, fuck you, I'm not doing that. It's simple. And get you scared. That's also part of their training. That's part of their medical school training, is to get you afraid, to actually act like they're afraid for you. And see, what's behind this, what's driving this is actually greed. They teach them to bury this greedy feeling, because these doctors don't, whether they're realizing it or not, there's an underlying motivation to recommend these things to people, because there's a lot of money in it for them. So there's an underlying motivating factor here. It's called greed. And it's complete innocence in this. I'm not saying anyone's wrong. I'm not saying anyone's wrong, okay? It's like it's complete innocent in all of it. It's complete innocence. It's you. It's your own mind reflecting. It's giving yourself an opportunity. You know, when my daughter was a teenager, she got her wisdom teeth pulled, right? So afterwards, the doctor wanted to. Now I was looking at all the paperwork because at that time I had all kinds of training. I knew what was up. You know, I'm like, okay, she's just here to get her wisdom teeth pulled. She's not here to get all drugged up needlessly, right? So she got the anesthesia. You know, wisdom teeth is brutal. Anesthesia, okay, cool. And then the doctor wants me to sign this thing so he'll give her steroids and antibiotics. And I say no. And, you know, I'm kind of young at that time. And the doctor is pulling a major trip on me, telling me how it's people like me that put our kids in all kind of danger, threatening my daughter's life to my stupidity, talking about social services and stuff like that. And I just said, okay, thank you. Thanks for letting me know. I'm gonna still refuse those things. That's all. It's really fucking simple. You know, it's like they're not your authority just because they seem to be your authority. I wasn't even pissed at him. It seemed like he was super pissed at me. Vicious even. It's like I could see his teeth. He's like, like putting on the face and everything. I don't know if I do that well. Probably not. and you know, my daughter even starts to develop this sense like, Mom, shouldn't you do what he says? Because I'm scared. And I'm like, honey, here's the thing. You are not you're not in any danger of anything. If you need an antibiotic, we will get you an antibiotic. You do not need an antibiotic. You don't have any symptom of any kind of infection or inflammation. And you know, you're gonna stay like that, most likely. And my daughter and you know, I was just like really confident in whatever it is, it's totally working out. It's totally fine. And that's the thing. It's like, we don't want to be responsible for killing our kids. So we let the medical community do it to them. It's freaking funny. It's like, I will take my chances. Drug-free pain. Like, okay, I see that. You're going to get some teeth out. You know, don't want to put a kid through that. I woke up in the middle of mine. I was on Demerol, which is supposed to put you out pretty good. I woke up in the middle of mine and I was like 18 years old. I heard him say, oh no, she's coming too. Put her back out. And I was like, yes, please put me back out. I don't want to be any part of this thing. Get me out of this. You know, it's not like you need everything that they say you have to have, you know. Then you got other, you know, it's like more of a burden. It's like more of this information, you know, and more of like what you have to sift through, more information you have to sift through, you know. It's kind of like, let me just be free to whatever it is, it's fine. Whatever it is, whatever comes out of me, I don't second guess it. That's all. And I invite you, everyone, to take that on. Whatever seems to come out of you, as in it seems like you did it and you find yourself second guessing it, laugh. That's the ego. Laugh and let yourself take a deep breath, which, you know, laughter does lead to a deep breath, I noticed. If you think there's any chance that you could be subject to the ego's evaluation, laugh about it. That's what it's for. You only take it seriously because it's a habit to take what the ego says seriously. The ego said, oh no, you separated yourself from creation. Oh no. What are you going to do? Cover it up and forget about it and never look back. That just made me think of that movie, The Lion King. Remember when, did you guys watch The Lion King? Remember when The hyenas made it look like Simba killed his father, and they said, "Run away and forget about this place and never come back." uh, sometimes I think that maybe that big thing about bashing all the Disney movies is like trying to make it so that you don't see all those messages that are in Disney movies. It's freaking trippy. So, you know, if you ever find yourself watching any Disney movies, get real open, because they got messages in those things that are beyond what you think about penises and stuff like that. I see people trying to point out how Disney's trying to get kids to have sex or something by showing them penises on things. Look deeper. Look a little deeper. There's actually a message in the story. Some good stuff. Frozen, the movie Frozen brings my daughter to tears every time. The message is deep. It's like there's forces in the world, and I'm saying it's light because there's no forces in the world. It's like there's forces in the world that are showing you clues to your awakening, and then there's forces in the world that are trying to prevent it at the same time. When you see that play, you know exactly where to move your as far as your awareness. Like, oh, I see the forces trying to prevent that from coming. You know, it's like trying to prevent this awareness. Like you see, plant medicine is one of those things on Instagram specifically, and probably everywhere. If you are talking about plant medicine, and I know a lot of other hashtags too on Instagram, you don't get play. You don't get play. They kind of like shut you down. There's certain things they don't want that out. Natural stuff. It's like there's this that's why it's like there's two, it's like there's two worlds. It's like there's the world that just goes for all of the away from nature, like veering away from nature, away from what's natural, and into delusion, confusion, fear, all that kind of stuff. And it's like it seems like at one point that fearful world is just going to fall away, and we're going to see like everything that we thought we saw that was fearful, we had only painted it there. So and here's what I see. It's like the ones from the world of the darkness, and this is how it seems to be playing out. The ones from the world of the darkness, the dark world, the system and the systemites and all that, they're like one by one popping and going, oh, it's way better over there. It's way better in the light. It's way more fun in the light. It's way more fun carefree. It's way more fun being fearless. Look, when everyone sees that there's no death because consciousness is making this reality and there's not this fear of death, everyone will start living. And when everyone's living, there's no dying. The sense that that a death is possible is because of us not being willing to live. This isn't life. Your authenticity is life. Authenticity in a dream really comes down to a choice. It's a choice between adding tension or getting relief. Being released from tension. You're either adding tension on, or being released. That's all it is. That's our creativity. That's our creative power in a dream. With that creative power, and through that creative power, we will see through this dream, and then we'll see our creation and know how we create. You know, in creation, even the choice is an illusion. I mean, even choosing anything is an illusion. There's no choosing in creation. There's not even choosing. It's not a thing. It's only here. Here, it's the same place as creation. It's only in this dream that we seem to have a choice, and that choice is what saves us. It's what releases us from dreaming. We're either choosing to make the illusion true, or we're demonstrating to our mind that the illusion is meaningless and only love is real. uh, my friend ultimately is like, you know what? I'm kind of like ready to walk on from this manifestation. I'm kind of like ready to walk on. And yeah, that's how I felt too. Like many years ago, I think maybe like 6 years ago or something like that. I got the sense that this body was passing away. It seemed to be a heart attack or something like that. I don't know. But my husband goes, "Do you want to go to the hospital?" And I'm like, "No, not even." I'm like, "Just give me my heart essential oil. We'll put some heart essential oil. I have an essential oil blend called Heart. Put it over my heart and take my chances." I mean, if this body is ready to be laid down, that's the way I like to see it. This body is ready to be laid down. It's like a device for awakening. It's a temporary device for awakening. I'm not trying to keep it alive. I don't need to. It's not even my responsibility. What seems to try to keep my body alive is not me. What seems in the world to try to keep my body alive is not only not me, but it's not doing anything. It's only a seeming. So I don't resist it. That one that has all the senses, like what my preference is on what I eat, whether I'm gonna do yoga and all that kind of stuff. That is just illusion playing out. It's not right or wrong. I don't have to identify with it. It's playing itself out on its own. It's making all the choices for me. I'm not even capable of making any of those choices. I find out after the fact what choice was already made. I find out by the manifestation what choice has been made. And I don't mind what it is. That's not my choice. My choice is only between, remember, building tension or getting release, which is the same as love or fear, truth or illusion, heaven or hell. That doesn't mean you shouldn't go to the doctor. No. You don't have a choice. That's the thing. I'm not, man, imagine how quiet your mind gets. You really become aware of your thoughts when you realize, man, I'm not making any of these choices. No one else is making any of these choices. There's no will in what transpires here in this illusion. Without there being this sense that there's will in the illusion, there's not a lot to think about, you guys. So then you're just hearing from the spirit all day long. And basically, that's my life. I hear from the spirit all day long. Spirit just tells me, like I'll be standing there and what was I? Oh, I was at a farmer's market. It was one little farmer's market, and I walked up there, and I got masked people on both sides of myself, and I noticed myself go, like, whoa, people, what have people been watching the news? They must be saying something on the news lately, because that's usually the case. Like something will come out, oh, we got a new variant. It's like you can kind of tell by, like, you'll see like more masks, like there were more masks at the little, but like, at least where I found myself, who knows. Uh, but I'm just standing there and I notice I'm getting an uncomfortable feeling, and all of a sudden I just start getting downloads because I don't take that to be anything real. I don't take it to be any kind of I don't take it to be something important that I need to pursue in thought. I immediately start getting all kinds of downloads. Like, these people are you. They're they're showing up apparently around you, asking for love. And that's how it always is. When you get a sense of any kind of upset feeling, irritation, anything like that, and it seems to be about the people that are around you or have to do with them in any way, that's them asking for love. So it's like I just get guidance right there. Whenever I have an upset feeling, I just get guidance right there, and it uplifts my energy. It releases me. It releases tension. So in that release, the other thing I was talking about earlier, you're automatically ascending in the timelines. It's like a vertical up, and you're taking them with you. You're taking everyone with you too. It's like an upliftment, and the whole thing just becomes more jolly and friendly. And as soon as there's the willingness to get release. Now I have orange essential. By the way, in case you guys don't know, I have an essential oil company. It's called Miracle Botanicals. It's the best essential oils ever. You won't believe it. Won't believe we can get such good essential oils in a dream. Ah. You can always go slow. You never have to hurry. If you find yourself hurried, you're always hurrying in the mind. Oh, thank you, Amy. Amy's ordering as she's listening. Oh, thank you. I know we love Miracle Botanicals too. It is so fun. All that's ever being asked of you is to get release in the mind. That's what all your upset feelings are for. So that you'll just take a breather right there. And, that's one thing. I started with essential oils. That was one of the things that's why they're so near and dear to my heart. Because, back, I think it was like 2008 or something like that. My baby Braun was born, my cute little baby Braun. And I was like pretty stressed out. I worked myself into a sense of being so freaking separate by that time, that I was going to a natural doctor, basically to help me to like calm down. I was super anxious all the time. So the first thing she gave me was neroli essential oil, which is from the orange blossom. It's a very nice one. And it just spoke to me immediately. And I didn't have any experience like communicating with plants or anything like that. But I was like, whoa, that is like powerful medicine. It's just like, it's like, oh, it's like, and the way I took it, and the way I see it even more clearly now is not that the medicine did anything to me, almost like it was like a whisper of what's true. And I could remember that. It's like I can remember. Yes, I remember. Yes, I do remember that. Ah, thank goodness. So on my apparent journey through dreaming, I learned really easy how to trust in what's true. And then I taught myself my own lesson, which started around 18 years old, about how to be a untrusting and totally rely on myself for everything. And boy, did I work myself into a way. So the plant, what I call plant medicine, and for different people that means different things. Definitely call the essential oils plant medicine because of their message and their clear message, really clear message as far as I can tell. You can't find heart? Type it in the search. Someone's asking for heart essential oil. Type it in the search. It should come right up. If not, I'll help you after I'm done with wisdom dialogues. It should come up though. Chakra essential oils too. Whole line of chakra essential oils. So they communicate messages that kind of like bypass the lessons you taught yourself. Like they know, they don't have an ego. The plants don't have an ego. Okay. So they know what you forgot, and they're kind of like the keepers of that wisdom. You can say they're the keepers of that wisdom. And when I get a smell of an essential oil, I smell that thing. I'm like, whoa, what is up with this? You know, it's just like instantly, whatever I was thinking is gone, and I'm chilling. You know, maybe I was open to that. Of course I was. So I go, what is it about this? So I start looking into it, and basically this is the what they call the lifeblood of the plant. It's like the plant consciousness is an aroma. Isn't that beautiful? The plant consciousness is an aroma. It's manifests as an aroma. You know, it's like the flower, when the flower gives off its aroma, that's sharing its consciousness. It's really beautiful. And it's like when you receive that, and in the physical sense, when you've taken when you just smell it, the information is through the entire bloodstream in like 20 seconds. It's everywhere in 20 seconds, which is, to me, is symbolic. It's communicated this message to every aspect of your being. It's communicated this message of truth. It's peacefulness, and that's another thing. Like, we use each other like that to help each other. And as far as plants are concerned, they are uplifting the energy of, you could say, the planet. It's your mind. There's no planet, but they're uplifting the energy of your mind, so you're not in the deepest depths of hell. You know, they prevent it from going below a certain point. Their consciousness, you know, which is also a part of you, which is also what you put in there. That even with all the fear and all the following the ego and everything like that, your mind is still established in truth. So it's like you can only make it so bad for yourself. Even though you think you hate yourself, you still love yourself so much. Your mind is established in that. So there's all these apparent gifts in the illusion that are kind of like signposts for you, something that a device that you can use to help you awaken. Right? So yeah, when it comes to medicine, you can have your medicine be anything you want. This is what is great. That's one thing, the kind of freedom, the kind of freedom I like. It's because that's what's true. My medicine could be anything. So if I get the sense that I'm having a heart attack, I can either use a doctor in a hospital to prop them up to say, oh yeah, you had a heart attack. Now you need this, and this, right? Or I could go, oh, that seemed like it might have been a heart attack. Get the heart essential oil. It makes sense to me. And you know, that becomes medicine. It's just a magic trick. What do you want your magic trick to be? You know, for me, I noticed that I don't have a preference for those bright lights or scare tactics that are arising in hospitals. So I'm not drawn there. Okay. I like the aroma of my heart essential oil. I like the way it feels. I like the way it seems to feel. We also don't feel anything. Feeling is a mental interpretation. It seems to be in the body. It's a mental interpretation. So it's like, you deserve whatever it is that you can interpret as peaceful, comforting, loving. You deserve that to be your medicine. It could be anything. And here's how it's going to manifest. If you are attacking yourself, then your medicine has to be intense and brutal. Okay, you don't want that for yourself. So you don't have to attack your mind. If you have the perception of, I have no other choice, I have to go and have exploratory surgery on my heart, for instance, I have no other choice, this is what it is, then this is what it is. Use it. Use it for awakening your mind, because it really doesn't matter. Keep in mind that it doesn't matter what you find yourself doing. It only matters that you're willing to learn from it. Notice when you're made to play out something that apparently denies your authenticity. Just notice. That's how it gets healed. Not from judging it. No one's doing it wrong. That's the main lesson. You could say that's the main lesson your spirit wants you to know right now and all the time while you're dreaming, that you're not capable of doing anything here. That cuts to the chase on all the things that you thought you had to think about. All the people that you thought you had to evaluate, you thought you had to evaluate their actions. One woman asked me in Wisdom Dialogues in person yesterday, but if I'm disappointed in a person, shouldn't I have the opportunity to be heard by them? And I'm like, why do you want to lie to them and lie to yourself? Why would you want that? You're not disappointed because of them. You're never disappointed for the reason you think. I mean, you should do that. If you want to prop up this illusion and keep on dreaming longer, you should definitely do that. If you want to extend time, definitely do it. Make sure you're heard. And look, that's a thinking. Don't I need to be heard? Don't I need my disappointment to be heard? That's thinking. You decide. Wait a minute. Apply some reason to it. Who's disappointed? I'm not capable of getting disappointed. Why would I make myself believe that I'm capable of being disappointed by pointing out how someone made me disappointed? And then can try to convince them to also believe that they had that kind of power over me. So I could be vulnerable to other people doing things to me. No, that's when we go around and act like we're vulnerable to other people's actions, that teaches our mind that we're vulnerable. And it's like, why do you want to be that? You're not that. You're all powerful mind. You're not vulnerable. I know we all feel vulnerable. We think we feel vulnerable. We think we feel. We do not feel without a thought making it manifest. Okay? You could say the body construct, which is made of thought, is programmed to feel a certain way and crave certain feelings. And because of those cravings, manifestation is happening on these patterns. You keep on getting the same feeling reaction again, and then think it's real again and perpetuate it out some more. You think, you feel vulnerable. But that's only to convince you that you are vulnerable. Don't believe it. It's not true. You're still all powerful mind. You haven't changed from that. You modifying yourself in your mind to make yourself something that's vulnerable has absolutely no effect on your reality. It only has an effect in your dream. Your reality hasn't changed. Yeah. Yeah, the reason I'm here. Thank you, Marina. I'm going to see you too. Thanks for enjoying the oils. Yeah. Me and Marina are going to what is it? Solstice? It's solstice, right? Or is it the other one? Equinox. I don't know. Solstice. Okay. So for solstice celebration, Marina and I are going to Cannabis. Yeah. Yeah, we're going to be eating and smoking ganja for solstice. Doesn't that sound fun? Hey, I've never been invited to an event like that, and it just sounded good. So we're having wisdom dialogue a little early to make some space for that. Yeah. Yay, Marina. I'm glad you're going. Yeah, really fun. We're also, I heard dancing, and yeah. Only thing is, I heard it's vegetarian or vegan or something like that. So sounds like a bunch of vegetable infused. Yeah, I'm not a big fan of vegetables, but we'll see what happens. That's another one. That's another one of those things. You probably grew up thinking that you have to eat vegetables to be healthy. You know that's a punishment, right? Unless you're a little kid, like 5 years old, and you're going, yeah, fuck yeah, give me that lettuce. Give me that raw broccoli, for instance. Okay. I mean, I don't know. Some of you are probably, I imagine some of you are probably wired that you actually like eating the same thing as rabbits. Okay. But most people are so relieved when they find out that I don't eat vegetables, because they're like, holy shit, does that mean I can get away with not eating any vegetables? And I go, absolutely. That's a freaking trick, man. You don't have to like, just the idea that you have to eat something. You know how you know you have to eat it? You're eating it. You made yourself eat it. because of that what you took true before, you made yourself eat it, and you may find yourself eating something that you think you have to eat in order to be healthy, because that's the way our society is trained. Okay, no pain, no gain. Okay, no suffering, no suffering, no beauty. For instance. It's all a bunch of junk. It's all a bunch of junk food. It's a junk food diet of thoughts. And you know, it's funny because the thing is, when I used to eat fast food wasn't quite fast food that it is now, is it? You know, I went and tasted it a couple of years ago when KFC came down. That used to be my favorite fast food. Oh man, I can even imagine it right now and like get a sense like, oh, it's so good. You know, the way KFC was. Well, it's not like that anymore. It tastes like shit. I got some, I took a bite. I'm like, what the heck? Come to find out, they're using stuff that isn't appetizing. They're using different ingredients now and passing that shit off as fast food. And people are thinking of that as a treat. That's not a treat. There's nothing treaty about that. I don't know. The younger people just like not get anything good. And so they're just like, oh, let's eat this stuff that tastes like, I don't know what even to say. It doesn't have much of a flavor. But it's like we get trained to think that, okay, if you're not eating McDonald's, and you're eating the good way, that means you're eating a bunch of vegetables. So either you're treating yourself with this stuff that actually tastes like shit, or you're suffering over here. Most of you who are eating vegetables are trying to put more vegetables in your diet, or you're suffering over here trying to choke down shit you don't like. You know, it's like, Or how about this one? A lot of times people think I'm a vegan, right? Because because I must be, because my consciousness is so high. I mean, I'm not the one saying my consciousness is so high. Like I thought you were a much more higher developed being than that you wouldn't be eating any meat. And it's like I just love it when someone shares something like that to me, because it gives me the deepest belly laugh I could ask for. I'm like, I'm like, oh, thanks. Come to find out, it doesn't matter if you get the perception of yourself eating meat, vegetables, carbs, starch, any of that stuff. What matters is what you are making of it. That's all that matters. And it's like, don't get rebellious about it and go, I'm going to prove, I'm going to eat 2 loaves of bread tonight. I'm going to prove that I won't get a tummy ache. That is called tempting the ego. And that's a guarantee, it pretty much guaranteed you're going to give yourself a tummy ache because of that. You don't have a choice in what you eat. So you got to get that straight first. You don't even have a choice. That's where your freedom comes in. Because then there's no questioning it. You didn't have a choice. That means it was meant to be. If you seem to get a tummy ache, you don't have a tummy ache for the reason you think. You start going through with that perspective, you're going to find yourself being able to eat and tolerate more and more foods, and you'll be enjoying that. And really the illusion is for enjoying whatever is given here for you to play with. You enjoy. That's why I say, it doesn't matter to me what kind of situation I find myself in. I'm going to use it for enjoyment and for awakening, which are the same. Because remember, I said awakening from this dream is through laughter, because we took it seriously. None of this stuff is serious. I had the perception I was on this retreat, and my tummy seemed to be all gurgly or something like that. And me and my friend got into this conversation, and we're like, yeah, it's probably a good idea to just like cut out the carbs. And I'm like, yeah, okay, that's cool. And I get home, and the first thing I realize is I'm eating bread, actually, like just full on bread. I find myself actually fasting on bread and butter after I just had this conversation about cutting out carbs. And I'm just laughing. I just think it's so funny. It's not like it matters to me. It's like all this stuff is just so light for me. It's so easy. And then the next thing that was like, maybe, was that like July? No, I don't know. July, maybe. Yeah. And actually, come to find out, ever since that time, I've eaten a lot more bread than I have in a really long time, and feel awesome, actually. So that's pretty fun. I think I feel awesome. See, I think I feel awesome. There's no guilt to be played out in that way at this point in time. That's why I think I feel awesome, because there's no guilt to be played out at this point in time. When you don't feel awesome, that's guilt being played out. And it's not bad. It's just like you recognize that's a guilty thought being played out. And don't worry about it if your mind is trying to make some kind of solution for it. Don't worry about it. Just don't identify with it. You don't have to stop it. Let your mind come up with this solution. It was fun talking about a solution with my friend. Pretty sure she said she came to the same thing as I did. She's like, oh, well, that was interesting. Now I'm eating bread. and the thing just seems to pass. It's the same thing like what they say about vaccines. Like one of the mainstream talking points that you'll hear people say is that if it weren't for vaccines, we'd still have polio and all this other stuff. And you can see that, they'll show these charts where it'll show how the decline was already there. Like it had already gone like this and back to this, and it was already like this. And then there's the vaccine comes in. It's already naturally petering out. And that's how it is with everything. Anything that you get a perception of that seems to be here, it's already petering out. It doesn't mean you don't, it doesn't mean you should try to prevent yourself. Like that's what I mean about confusing these levels. There's a level of the world and there's a level of the mind. So that doesn't mean trying to prevent yourself from going for a remedy. You don't have a choice in that. Let it be what it is. When you are trying to manipulate how you reflect in the world, that's when you can't let it be how it is. And that's when you make suffering for yourself. Just let it be how it is. Let it go how it does. And remember, a diagnosis that you get from a doctor, it's a wake-up call. That's all. It's just a wake-up call. It doesn't mean you have that thing. Be gentle. Be gentler with yourself. It's all from being too aggressive with yourself that you would find yourself in a situation getting a diagnosis that you don't like from a doctor. Okay. All it means is there needs to be more gentleness in your mind. So, hooray, everyone. Thank you so much for joining me. If you have any questions or you want to share anything with me, raise your hand. If not, I'm winding down. It's been so fun sharing with you. Thank you. I really appreciate everyone who joins me. Thank you for all your support, questions. So some of you donate to me. If you want to donate to me, you can do that. My website, hopejohnson.org. There's a donate tab there. There's also a wisdom dialogues tab there where you can find all of the episodes. My book is there. My book, Unschooling for Parents. You don't need to be a parent to read it. It's a really fun book, and I think you'll get a lot out of it if you're interested in this kind of conversation. You can find all that stuff on my website. Also, the book's on Amazon, where I think Prime members get it for either really cheap or free. So you can do it that way too. And I also do wisdom dialogues in person at Hawaiian Sanctuary on Friday. And if you were wondering if I'll be there for Christmas Eve and New Year's Eve, the answer is yes, I surely will. And I'm super excited about that. So yeah, glad to see you there if you make it. And yeah, anyone else? Anyone got any questions, or are we signing out? Thank you, everyone. I appreciate you so much. It's been such a pleasure sharing with you now and over the years. Welcome to some new people that joined me. I appreciate you. If you haven't experienced Wisdom Dialogues and this is your first one, congratulations. Yeah. You're ready to spread your wings and fly into the free open skies of your mind. This is so exciting. I'm so excited for you. And those of you who have been with me for a bit, congratulations too, because there's another level revealing itself here. I mean, for myself, and I want to say congratulations to myself too, because in this past week, I have experienced a sense of detachment like never before. A sense like everything that I seem to think about myself, my family, my body, my anything about this world, any little thing about this world, it's just immediately being recognized that that's not about me. And it's like, and I'm just hearing from the spirit 24/7. I don't really have space for anything else. I'm finding myself intolerant to entertaining any other kinds of thoughts. And I feel that is so amazing. And, you know, of course, I know everyone in the world benefits from that, because everyone who seems to be in the world is actually in my mind. And the more I can see you clearly, the more it helps you see too. So thank you so much for joining me on this adventure, and for walking beside me on our dream of awakening. So fun. I never knew dreaming could be so fun. Oh, I'm glad you found the heart oil, Amy. I love that one. A lot of people say it's like cologne. It's got it's got spikenard in it, which spikenard is kind of like, a lot of people can't handle it, but I put it in there with some rose and some other things and then it's kind of like more, it gives you that more aphrodisiac-y kind of quality, rather than the stinky feet quality of that kind of aroma. It appears I am late, but that's not true. You're late for what, Glenn? You're late. My grandpa has COVID and my dad said it was my fault. Oh, yeah, that's a good one. Well, that's just, it's not serious like it sounds. Let's just say that. It's not serious like it sounds. And it's not true. Your dad's just kidding. Oh, I love you, Maria. It's so fun. Thank you, Tatiana. Thank you, Nancy. Appreciate you. Oh gosh, all of you are so awesome and beautiful. Thank you so much for joining me. All right, until next Monday. Mahalo. Aloha. Oh, people are still messaging me. Seeing him in bed looked intense. You're all good. You got it. I love you. Ahui ho.